specific kind of energy that only belongs to Paris. No matter how many times you see it on a screen or read about it in a book, nothing quite prepares you for the moment you actually step off the plane and find yourself in the middle of it all. It's a city built on layers of history, romance, and an effortless sense of style. From the quiet side streets where locals grab their morning croissants to the grand avenues that have watched centuries pass by, Paris has this incredible knack for making you feel like you've walked straight into a movie. We came here looking for the ultimate city break, a mix of the iconic landmarks everyone knows and the quiet, hidden corners that make the city feel entirely your own. And honestly, it didn't take long to fall completely under its spell. For this trip, we wanted a base that felt authentic, so we stayed in the 5th arrondissement, better known as the Latin Quarter. It's the oldest district in Paris, famous for its bohemian roots, lively student energy, and winding medieval streets. Our home for the next 3 nights was the Hôtel André Latin. It's this gorgeous boutique spot with a cool retro chic vibe, nestled right between the Luxembourg Gardens and the Pantheon. We managed to snag a pretty great deal, paying around £400 for a 3-night stay, which felt like a massive win for a location this central. By the time we dropped our bags and freshened up, night had completely fallen. We were exhausted from travelling, but you can't just sit in a hotel room on your first night in Paris. We headed out into the crisp evening air for a walk, watching the city light up. We walked all the way down to see the Eiffel Tower, and seeing it sparkling up close against the night sky is one of those genuine, pinch-me moments that never gets old. By this point, our stomachs were seriously reminding us we hadn't eaten a real meal. Since it was late, we wanted something quick and nearby, so we ducked into Café Gustave, a classic little bistro, just a short stroll from the tower. Because of its prime location right next to the Eiffel Tower, it can definitely appear a bit expensive on paper, but we were absolutely starving, and the food turned out to be really good. We ordered the duck confit and a crispy chicken burger, washed down with a Coke and a beer, which ended up costing us around €70. Sitting there, recovering from our travels and absorbing the fact that we were finally in Paris, made it a perfect, low-key end to night number 1. We started our second morning in the best way possible, ducking into a charming little cafe for a classic Parisian breakfast of a crispy croque monsieur and a couple of hot coffees. Once we were fueled up, we made our way over to the Catacombs of Paris. It's this massive, slightly eerie, underground ossuary that holds the remains of over 6 million people, created back in the late 18th century to solve the city's major issue with overflowing cemeteries. Tickets cost us around £26 each, and walking through those quiet, bone-lined tunnels right underneath the bustling city streets was an incredibly surreal experience. Back above ground, we took a beautiful, relaxing walk along the banks of the Seine, making our way toward the Eiffel Tower. This iconic iron monument was originally built as a temporary centrepiece for the 1889 World's Fair, but it obviously became a permanent fixture of the skyline. Because elevator tickets are notoriously limited and sell out months in advance, we chose to take the steps up to the second floor instead, which cost us about £12 each. Honestly, it turned out to be a blessing. It was unseasonably lovely. Hot weather for October, so by the time we made it up, we rewarded ourselves with a couple of cold beers and just sat there, soaking in the stunning panoramic views of the entire city. For dinner that evening, we wanted to try some classic French delicacies, so we headed over to l'Escargot Montorgueil. We kicked things off with a beer, an orange juice, and a bottle of rich red wine. For starters, we ordered a plate of snails and frog's legs to share, which were both amazing, and then for our mains, we went with a fresh beef tartare and another round of delicious duck confit. The entire bill came out to €125, which felt completely worth it for such an authentic, unforgettable dining experience to wrap up day 2. For day 3, we headed out of the city centre and caught a train straight to Marne-la-Vallée for a full day at Disneyland Paris. We spent the entire day exploring the main park, where updated prices for a standard, 1-day, 1-park dated ticket generally start around £60 on quieter days, but scale up closer to £90 during peak seasons. Since we visited right around Halloween, the atmosphere was incredible. The spooky props, autumn decorations, and festive themes scattered all across the park were absolutely amazing. We managed to hit a ton of rides, but our absolute favourite attractions were definitely the eerie Phantom Manor, the wild twists of Big Thunder Mountain, and the classic Pirates of the Caribbean. By lunchtime we were ready for a break, so we headed over to Café Hyperion in Discoveryland. They were running a special seasonal menu, so we grabbed 2 of their Halloween meals, which included a burger, fries, a dessert, and a drink, coming to a total of €34. It was a long, exhausting day of walking, but there was no way we were leaving before dark. We waited it out for the famous nighttime fireworks and light show over the castle, which was made especially better by the unique Halloween projections and music. It was a massive day, but the absolute perfect way to finish the trip. On our 4th and final day, we checked out of the hotel at 11 a.m. and made our way over to the magnificent Notre Dame Cathedral. After years of massive, meticulous restoration, following the devastating 2019 fire, the cathedral is fully open again, and seeing its iconic silhouette and restored spire standing proud against the Parisian sky is incredibly powerful. Just across the river, we stopped by the famous Shakespeare and Company Cafe to grab a coffee, which was absolutely delicious and gave us the perfect morning boost. From there, we hopped onto the metro and headed up north to the historic, artistic neighbourhood of Montmartre to see the striking white domes of the Sacré-Cœur Basilica. After soaking in the atmosphere, we wandered through the hilly side streets and stopped for a light pastry bite at a quirky little spot called Café Félicité. It was such a charming, unique find, though sadly, I don't think it's around anymore. With our pastries finished, it was finally time to grab our bags and head home. Looking back at the trip as a whole, Paris completely lived up to the hype. It's a city that seamlessly blends world-famous, historic grandeur with these quiet, intimate local moments. Whether you're climbing hundreds of steps for a panoramic view, trying out frog's legs in a classic bistro, or catching the magic of Disneyland under autumn skies, it's the kind of place that captures your heart so quickly, you find yourself planning your next visit before you've even left. If you enjoyed coming along with us on this Paris adventure, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. And make sure to click that little bell icon so you're the first to know when our next travel guides drop. We have so many more city breaks coming up that you won't want to miss, including 3 days in Rome, followed by trips to Amsterdam, Krakow, and Prague. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.